Nothing is more baffling than a distant Taurus man. Especially when a Taurus man acts interested then disappears. Yet, this is something most Taurus men do at some time or another. It can leave you wondering about a Taurus man's intentions. If a Taurus man stopped texting or if he is sending you mixed signals, you may wonder if he's suddenly lost interest. More often than not, he is actually developing feelings and is getting scared. But there are many reasons a Taurus man may suddenly become distant. If you miss the mark and make an assumption about his motives, it could cost you the connection. Taurus men are notorious for being inconsistent in relationships, while expecting others to be consistent with them. This can lead many women to give up on Taurus guys. Reasons why a Taurus man suddenly becomes distant. Number 1. You've offended him. A Taurus man testing you may shut down or suddenly become distant. Yet, there can be other reasons for why he suddenly goes quiet. One of the reasons a Taurus man may back down is if you've offended him. Taurus men seem to have a thick skin, but they actually are much more sensitive than they initially try to let on. Taurus men can be easily turned off by things that you think are minuscule or unimportant. When a Taurus man is in love with you, he may try to ignore a few things that don't sit well with him. But more often than not, a Taurus man will look for reasons to back out of a relationship because he starts to feel insecure when he's falling in love. One of the ways he conveniently sabotages himself is by seeking small details to get upset about. He can hold a grudge and create resentments out of thin air. He may find imperfections to criticize. If you've done something to offend him, he may go quiet. Number 2. He's not interested. When a Taurus man goes quiet, it can be an indicator that he is not interested in you. One of the best ways to discern whether he is falling in love or simply not interested is to step back and see if he starts to chase you. When a Taurus man misses you, he will start to step up to the plate and show more consistency. If he's not interested, he'll continue to ignore you. As much as it may hurt to see that he is not interested, it is best to not chase a Taurus man who has made no effort to pursue you. Taurus men are stubborn, and if they show you they aren't interested, it is best to move on. Number 3. He's falling in love. If a Taurus man is falling in love, he will do something that may surprise you. Rather than opening his heart and showing you that he loves you, a Taurus man will instead start to back down. As strange as it seems, a Taurus man who suddenly seems distant may actually be growing more attached to you. This is something that scares him as it threatens his need for security. A Taurus man who is falling in love may panic and try to hide his feelings. He won't want to appear vulnerable. Sometimes he will even give you the cold shoulder or ghost you for a short period of time because he's afraid of falling in love. If you think your Taurus man has gone distant because he's falling in love with you, the best thing you can do is step back and allow him to summon the courage to get comfortable with his feelings. Keep your communication light and friendly. Don't overwhelm him or appear too intense. Taurus men approach love the same way they approach entering a swimming pool. They will gradually immerse themselves, but need time to adjust to the water. Number 4. He's not ready for commitment. A Taurus man pulling away may be reacting to a subtle shift in the relationship. If you started out casually dating and everything was fine, but then he starts to turn cold, it could be that he senses you are ready for a commitment and he is not. Taurus men value honesty and integrity. He will see it as deceptive if he leads you on when he is not ready for commitment. If he starts to feel like you want more from the relationship, a Taurus man may back down. This is a sign that he is not ready for commitment. Even if he still cares about you, a Taurus man who is not ready for a solid relationship will start to shy away from you just when you would expect him to become more committed. Number 5. His ex came back. If you're wondering how to know when a Taurus man is done with you, sometimes the only way to know for sure is to give him time. If he suddenly goes quiet, it could be because his ex-girlfriend came back into the picture. When he is entering a new relationship, a Taurus man will often try to keep a door open on a past relationship. He suffers from a fear of missing out. When his ex shows renewed interest in him, a Taurus man will often opt for returning to her because he feels comfortable and secure with this link to the past. He can be complacent and prefers the security of a relationship he's already familiar with. Number 6. Money trouble. One of the most surprising reasons a Taurus man will suddenly go distant is because he is having money problems. This baffles many women who would rather nurture a loving relationship with him than worry about whether or not he is as wealthy as he'd like to be. But this doesn't work for Taurus men. They are obsessed with financial stability and security. If a Taurus man feels insecure about his money, he'll put all his attention into trying to balance the budget. He'll focus less on you as a result. Sometimes, he'll even go so far as to break up with you because he knows he doesn't have the energy to focus on fixing his finances and paying attention to a relationship. Number 7. He's testing you. Knowing what to do when a Taurus man ignores you is crucial. Sometimes, he's just testing you. If you make a dramatic display of possessiveness, jealousy, or insecurity, he'll consider the relationship a lost cause. When a Taurus man is testing you, he will go quiet for a short period of time and gauge your reaction. You'll know he still loves you because he'll quickly get back on schedule and resume his normal communication with you. Testing behavior usually happens early in the relationship and is usually something a Taurus man will only do once or twice. It is not usually an ongoing issue with a Taurus man. Number 8. He's insecure. If you're wondering how to know if a Taurus man misses you, the best thing to do is to watch how he acts. If he misses you, he will come back around and start to text and call you again. One of the reasons a Taurus man can be distant is because he is naturally insecure. He is easily threatened by the slightest changes, and this includes adapting to new relationships. Taurus men can feel overwhelmed by the small adjustments that people make when they share their lives with a partner. When he feels insecure or feels like he's losing control, he will start to shut down and may become distant. Number 9. He's overwhelmed. Sometimes a Taurus man is overwhelmed by things going on in his life and becomes distant for reasons that are unrelated to you. He may be in love with you but under more stress than usual. Although it only takes a few minutes to send a text message, remember that Taurus men are concrete and efficient. If there is a problem a Taurus man needs to deal with, he will pour all his energy into solving the problem. This can mean that everything else becomes a lower priority. He may even forget to eat when he's focused on a work project or stressful situation. If your Taurus love interest is suddenly distant because he is overwhelmed with other issues, you may not know at first. Eventually, he will come around and tell you about all the things that have been troubling him. You may wish he would be honest about his circumstances sooner, but for a Taurus man, the need to save face is greater than the need to gain support. Number 10. He's jealous. A Taurus man's confusing behavior in relationships can make it difficult for him to maintain serious relationships. He can become so unreliable and slow-moving that even a woman who loves him will move on. If a Taurus man becomes jealous, he will shut down as well. Keep in mind a Taurus man doesn't even need a legitimate reason to become jealous. He's prone to insecurity and possessiveness. Even if you've done nothing wrong, a Taurus man will become jealous of any guy you pay attention to. If you speak favorably about a male friend or colleague, it can also trigger a Taurus man's jealousy. Don't forget to click the link in the description below and download my free ebook. Also, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like and also make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, so you get notified whenever I post new content, and follow me on Instagram for daily relationship tips.